Sure. Thank you, Alex. It's such a pleasure being here, guys, and thank you for the opportunity to speak at this amazing webinar. So my name is Matteo. A couple of words about me. I'm Italian, as you could hear, and I've been living in the United States for the past 10 years. I'm doing back and forth now between Miami, Tuscany, and Dubai. So I always been a startupper, and I started, helped and created more than 12 startups during my entire life. And I switched from casino management to fashion, up until advertising, and now I try to merge all of that into a Web3 project called Zappy, and I will get to that. So I think right now, what I'm going to do, I will put on some slides. These slides are from some of our documents, so I don't want it to feel like a pitch, but I'm just trying to make you understand better the challenges that we faced in order to reach the final product that is Zappy now, and how that can be applied to all the other startups and projects that are trying to reach Gen Z, and especially this kind of the brand new, they're a total brand new audience for most of the brands, right? But a lot of brands are moving towards them. So I'll try to make it as less pitch as possible and as more of a webinar as possible. So let me know if you see my screen. There you go. I think you do. Okay. So so basically the problem that we're facing, which is not just interoperability and Gen Z, but is all applied to, as I said, fashion, gaming, but also data. So data right now is something that is very, very important. And I think it's the topic of the decade, right? So how to manage our data, how to own our data, how to make sure that we're that we're getting a profit out of our data, because as we know, our data is collected online, right, by the big players, and what they're doing, they're selling our data for a profit, but they're not giving us a share of that, right? So this is what's going on in the data sharing world. So our question was how to make use the blockchain technology to actually being able not only to make people own their data, but also sell their data. So how to make them earn by owning their data and selling their data. And for that also, when I say data, it's not just opinion on something, but it's also fashion related. And I will get to that because we have an entire part of the app and a feature of the app dedicated to fashion. So basically, how do we make that voluntary, profitable, and entertaining? So first of all, let me say a couple of words on Gen Z. So Gen Z is always been they always been underestimated, because I mean, if we're talking about Generation Z, which is between 1997 and 2012, we're talking about 1/3 of its global population, which is kind of a lot of people. So I mean, the spending power of the Generation Z in the US alone is $150 billion. So if you compare that to what the spending power of the parents are, is, I mean, if you're talking about $4,500 monthly spent on average by families on each one of them, we understand the power that Gen Z has, right? And that's the reason why now most of the big brands are going in that direction. So as we all know, the most used app right now is TikTok, together with Twitch. We got Roblox, of course, we got Snapchat, we got Spotify. But the most important thing is the adoption that they have towards technology and towards blockchain, especially because they're very used to learn about technology. They're not shocked like most of us were, or like even like if I talk about every single time I try to explain to my grandma what blockchain is, she's like, okay, no way. But because they're not used to that, right? So Gen Z is pretty used to this, pretty quick into learning that. And that's why most of our researchers show that they're most likely to use neobanks and cryptocurrencies apps other than regular traditional apps, right? So that's very important. I mean, that's the reason why we wanted to find a way to be attractive to Gen Z. Why is it important? I mean, why, you know, why are the other companies, why are most of the companies struggling with that? Because it says here, they're boring. Okay, so most of them are boring. If you think about like one of our indirect competitor, for example, is Brave browser, right? They're not direct competitors because they're not doing what we're doing, but they're doing something, you know, in that direction. But they're boring, right? You don't really enjoy using Brave browser because you're having fun. You're using Brave browser because, you know, it rewards you while you're doing something that you would have done anyway, right? But the way we're approaching it is by making the entire app gamified. So first of all, a couple of words on the values that we think are crucial when we target Gen Z. So the first one is education. They're incredibly addicted to education. They want to learn. It's incredible because, you know, I mean, I remember myself, I didn't want to learn anything when I was young, but you know, they want to learn. And especially if there is like a word called learn to earn, which is actually rewarding them to learn. So that's why we included the learn to earn aspect into our app as well. So we're teaching them what their data sharing rights are, what blockchain is, what cryptocurrencies are, and we're rewarding them for that, right? So the learn to earn component is very, very important. And basically what we're doing, we're making sure that everyone wins in the equation. That's also something that is very important when you build a startup and you want to target Gen Z. You have to make sure that everyone wins, and you disclaim that. You're telling, hey, you know what? Brands are receiving a spontaneous data, the cleanest data, but you're getting, you know, your share of that, right? So everybody wins. So they make sure and they know that they are winning, but you are fair because you're fair to them as you are with the brands. So and safety. Everything has to be very, very safe. For example, we created Zappy Parents, which is another app that will be used by parents. So parents can actually, you know, take a look at what their kids are. Of course, we're talking about minors here. So what their kids are doing with with their with the app, and they can set limits to that. And that's very important. That's very important because if we're talking about minors, there's always this safety issue, no? I mean, we always know that, and parents always are very, very worried about what happens when young users use some certain kind of apps. So talking about just a couple of words on what Zappy is, otherwise it gets a little confusing. So basically, there's 5 different ways to earn in the app. And the first one is the watch to earn. So basically, you can choose to watch video content from brands, from your favorite brands or your favorite influencers. You watch the video and you earn our token. And then there is a share to earn as well, where you can share your preferences on your favorite brands and you earn by doing that. So, but only if you want to. I always make the example with Gucci, right? So let's say you like Gucci and Gucci is your favorite brand. Your avatar asks you, what color would you like to see on Gucci shoes? So if Gucci is your favorite brand, this kind of answer will come from your heart, right? This is a zero-party data, and it is the most valuable data ever. And Gucci is willing to pay gold for this data, but only if you want to, though, because the last question is, would you like to share your preferences with Gucci for 2,000 coins? Because if you don't want to share, we're not going to sell it. If you want to share your data, we're selling the data to Gucci, and we'll split the profit with you. So let's get to the NFTs. Why are the NFTs important? Because first of all, this kind of data is embedded in an NFT. And this is one way that we're using NFTs for that. The other way is with the avatar. So the avatar system, we partnered with Ready Player Than Me. I'm sure you all know him. you all know that. So together with them, we're creating our avatar system, and every single accessory of the avatar, every single one, will be an NFT. So users will be able to buy our NFTs, or they can buy brands NFTs. Why is this good for Gen Z? Why do they care? I mean, that's the, the biggest question. Why do they care about this? They care about this because of the status that creates. So right now, if you go, if you go on a street with a Gucci bag, right? Everyone sees that you have a Gucci bag, and that's important for status, because Gucci bag isn't worth the money that it costs, but it's worth the brand that brings with it, right? So the awareness that brings with it. So same thing will happen in the metaverse. So we're partnering with Ready Player Than Me because of its interoperability, which is the most important thing ever. We had meetings with so many avatar companies you couldn't even imagine, like probably 20 avatar companies so far. But none of them, even if they had better graphics, some of them, they look like real people. I was like, it's impossible. But none of them had the interoperability that Ready Player Than Me has. And that's crucial for us, because if you have to stay, close in a single ecosystem, you won't get anywhere. The metaverse is about interoperability. It's about, exporting yourself as an avatar everywhere, right? So we want to make sure that if you buy a Gucci bag in Zappi, you will be able to bring that Gucci bag everywhere. And the only way we're doing that now is through Ready Player Than Me, because they do have this kind of interoperability. So it's that's why interoperability is crucial, and not a lot of companies are focusing on that. And I think it's a huge mistake, and that will, the companies that will succeed in the future, in the next future, are the ones that are focusing on interoperability, on on every single aspect of their business. And of course, creativity is also very important for that, because if you think about the NFTs that they can buy, I mean, we can make a few, brands can make a few, but also we wanted to give, that Gen Z is all about self-expression, right? So they want to be unique. They want to show that they're different, from the others. They want this, which is something that we, as millennials, we did not have. Like, we wanted to be, I remember when I was a kid, we always wanted to be, to have the same shoes that the other ones had. But for Gen Z, this is changing. So they want to be unique. How? In this case, we managed to create an editor. So we're gonna have an NFT editor. So users will be able to create their own accessories in the app, and they can export it. They can mint them because they're NFTs, and they can export them and sell them to other players through our marketplace or secondary marketplace. So this gives Gen Z the kind of uniqueness they're looking for. And also, we're partnering with an AI system, which is crazy. It's called Kaiden, that gives us and gives the users the ability to transform every single picture or a sketch or a drawing into a 3D model. So that means that everything they do in the app, even if they take a picture of of a watch they've drawn on a piece of paper, they can transform that into a 3D model that becomes an accessory for their avatar. And that's something that is pretty unique and gives them this kind of uniqueness they're looking for, right? So what they can also do, which is something pretty, that gives them this self-awareness, is the fact that they can create their own store, right? Which is very, very important. They can create their own store, and they can advertise their store on our app as they were a brand, right? So as you can see here, there's Frenchy Love that created a bunch of accessories, and now Frenchy can advertise themselves among all the other projects they can advertise on Zappi. So I think this kind of interoperability is what is needed in the space. And most of the avatar companies are not trying to do that. And I think fashion will need that if we want to if we want it to be as expanded as we think it will be, I think fashion will have to focus on that. Avatar companies will have to focus on that, and we will need like a big council that will be able to agglomerate all of these projects and make sure that every single aspect of a single project will be interoperable with the other ones. So yeah, thank you. I just wanted to say a couple of words on this. If you have any questions, just feel free to ask me or add me on LinkedIn, whatever. It was such a great pleasure to be here. Thank you, Alex.